When will Earth become a Type 2 civilization? This idea, which was first proposed in 1964, examines a civilization's technological development. Even though the amount of energy we can produce has increased dramatically over time, according to the definition of 1960s astronomy, we have only just begun to explore the universe. The Soviet astronomer Nikolai Kardashev delivered a paper titled Transmission of Information by Extraterrestrial Civilizations in 1964. This suggested a hypothetical scale for assessing how much energy a civilization can generate. What exactly is the Kardashev scale? Nikolai Kardashev proposed a categorization of hypothetical alien societies based on how much energy they could use in their technology. He reasoned that the more energy they could command, the more powerful their transmissions would be, and the farther away we might be able to detect them, says Jason Wright, the director of the Penn State Extraterrestrial Intelligence Center. This scale hypothesizes transmission distance while also indicating a civilization's power. The more power it can exert over its surroundings, the more energy it can produce. This scale isn't just relevant for extraterrestrial civilizations, it can also be used to plot Earth. We have never been able to map any other civilization on this scale because we have never actually encountered alien life. Although Kardashev first proposed this scale in 1964, it has undergone numerous revisions over the years, as other astronomers have updated and added new features and concepts. What are the various Kardashev scale types? So, which ones are there? And where would Earth fall if we were to map it out on this scale? We didn't even make it to the top of the Kardashev's original scale, coming in at number 1. Astronomer Carl Sagan did, however, later update the scale. The scale was quantified by the man who added decimal points and took into account the intervals between each level. Due to our low position on the scale, little old Earth was able to enter. A Type 1 society is like humanity. Sagan would later quantify Kardashev's scale and put humanity at around 0.72 on it. On this scale, 1 would be about as much solar energy as strikes the Earth's surface, says Wright. A different way to look at this is as a civilization that can utilize all of the energy on their planet. This includes the minerals on the planet and the sun's energy. A Type 2 society can collect much of the energy from its host star. Kardashev had lived in mind something like a Dyson sphere. In Sagan's version of the scale, this is 10 billion times more energy than a Type 1 society harvests, says Wright. When a civilization at the first level can harness social energy already present in the sun using solar energy collection devices like solar panels, the Type 2 groups involves directly harnessing solar energy. The most advocated theory of how to accomplish this is a Dyson sphere. The sun is theoretically surrounded by a sizable Death Star-like structure that absorbs a significant portion of its power output. This level was described as a civilization that can control the full power of the sun by the astronomer Guillermo Lemarchand. That would imply enormous amounts of power that are currently beyond our comprehension and would endow us with divine abilities. Even though that seems absurd, the scale only increases. A Type 3 society can collect much of the energy from all of the stars in its galaxy. In Sagan's version, this is another 10 billion times more energy than from one sun-like star, says Wright. We are well and truly into science fiction territory at this point. Consider the enormous alien civilizations that populate comic books, the kinds of things we should probably stay away from. The scale has undergone changes over time as a result of the contributions of other astronomers, physicists and futurists who have reimagined what it might look like. Famous cosmologist and physicist John Barrow, for instance, envisioned a scale with additional levels that would place Earth at roughly level 3. According to this version, level 1 involves manipulating inanimate objects, constructing buildings, mining, etc. Level 2 involves the manipulation of living things, such as genetic engineering or organ transplants. And Level 3 would permit a civilization to manipulate molecules and produce new materials. This is the level that Earth would be at the moment. The levels on this scale range from level 1 to level 6, with level 8 being the Omega level, which entails the ability to manipulate time and space. For Earth, this ability is probably still a ways off. How much energy will be required if Earth moves up this scale? Realistically, we're constantly advancing along the scale. According to Kardashev and later iterations of the scale, the more energy we are able to produce and use, the closer we come to becoming a Type 1 society. Every time we build a new power plant, we move a bit up the scale. It's a big scale though. We move by 0.01. So from 0.72 to 0.73, every time we increase our total energy supply by another 26%, which we do roughly every 5 years or so, says right. It becomes clearer how long it has been as a result. We might arrive at this point within the next 100 to 200 years, according to some experts like futurist Michio Kaku. Type 3 could take well over 100,000 years for Earth to reach, and Type 2 would probably take thousands of years. In other words, probably it is not in any of our lifetimes. But how did Earth arrive at this situation, particularly given that our energy use is directly harming the environment? Hopefully, we'll expand our energy supply only with renewables. The most abundant renewable is solar energy, and if in the far distant future our descendants to climb much higher on the scale, it will need to mostly be from solar panels in space, says Wright. Generating more than about 10 times as much energy as we currently do on Earth will begin to directly alter the Earth's climate. Even if we use renewables, solar panels block and collect light that normally would be reflected into space. If we want much more energy, we'll have to collect it and use it in places where it won't harm the biosphere. What would happen if we became a Type 2 civilization? We still have a ways to go in the energy department before utility bills are a thing of the past. We're still a Type 0 civilization according to the Kardashev scale, but we're getting closer than ever to using the energy of the planet. What then would it take for us to develop into a Type 2 or stellar civilization? How might we harness the power of our sun? What might keep us from moving up the scale to the next level? How would our lives change as a result? The Kardashev scale is a way to gauge a civilization's level of technological development based on the quality and types of energy that it can use. In case you're unfamiliar with the concept, we are a sub-global culture because we are a Type 0 civilization. Consequently, the majority of our energy still comes from natural resources like wood, coal, and oil. We'll need to master the use of all available energy sources, not just fossil fuels, in order to achieve Type 1. We're nearly there thanks to numerous developments in geothermal, hydro, wind, and solar energy. We would need to be able to harness the full power of our sun in order to receive a Type 2 rating on the scale. How might we use it then? We must create a massive swarm of energy-collecting satellites around the sun, known as a Dyson swarm, in order to advance to Type 2 or stellar civilization. What if we built a Dyson sphere around the sun? Our other video contains more information on this. However, a lot of things on Earth need to be improved before we can start building. Climate change, war, pandemics, and even asteroids are just a few of the potential threats to humanity that could put a stop to our progress. Speaking of asteroids, NASA has been working diligently on their DART project, or Double Asteroid Redirection Test. NASA will launch a rocket in 2021 on a collision course with the asteroid Didymos and its moon Didymoon. NASA anticipates that this collision will change the asteroid's trajectory away from Earth and produce the first artificial meteor shower. We may be able to become a Type 1 civilization, and if we are lucky, a Type 2 civilization if this turns out to be a successful defense against dangerous asteroids. However, if we possess the entire sun's energy, we could easily vaporize any potential dangers to the planet. In fact, if we wanted to, we could move Earth out of harm's way. The orbits of every object in our solar system are theoretically under our control. Using a Dyson swarm could also improve the habitability of other planets. By rerouting the sun's energy through these solar satellites, we could precisely regulate the temperature of any planet. We might begin terraforming nearby planets to create new habitats for us. This would even enable us to take trips to other planets. Who would like to go skiing on Mars? Why even stop at Mars? We could travel almost anywhere in our solar system if we had access to unlimited solar energy. At this point in time, technology would probably allow for universal accessibility and affordability of space travel. A trip to space today could cost you at least $250,000 and even tens of millions of dollars. Oh, my mortgage, what a waste. By partially shading the Earth with the Dyson sphere and giving it time to repair and rebuild our atmosphere, we may even be able to reverse the effects of climate change. We would be a much healthier and happier species without the air pollution caused by fossil fuels. So, this might be the beginning of a new era that we have only seen in movies and fiction. I hope you liked the concept and video. If so, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and press the bell icon so that you never miss any update from us.